out there, it's Bill again. We just had a thunderstorm roll by, and I thought it'd be a perfect time to talk about my Henry all-weather rifle. Why? Because I hunt in weather like this. Well, it's about 90 right now, so maybe not quite that hot, but I do hunt in some pretty bad weather. A few years back, I was able to get myself a new hunting rifle. I've never really had a good one, so I threw price out the window and I really did my research and decided what kind of a gun do I want to have. I wanted something maneuverable, not necessarily light, just well balanced, quick to the shoulder kind of gun. I needed it to be a heavier, slow moving bullet because I needed a brush gun. I rarely shoot past 50 yards. In the Adirondacks, you don't get much of a chance to shoot much farther than that. So usually you need a brush gun. I also wanted something with a quick follow-up shot. I know ideally you want to put the animal down in one shot, but in the real world that doesn't always happen. If I needed to make a second shot, then I want it to be quick. My options there were a pump, a semi, and a lever action. I've never owned a lever gun. I bought my son a 30-30 a couple years back just because it was used and on sale and a good price, and he was just starting out. I hunted with a few times and loved it. So I decided I was going to go for a lever gun. One thing I like about Henry is that it's made in America or it's not made at all. I talked to one gun guy who told me he has to call down to Henry every once in a while for inventory or questions or whatever. He told me he's called down there a few times and had a Mr. Imperato answer the phone just for customer service. And I did email the company a question, and within 20 minutes of the next business day opening, I had an email back from Anthony. So I was kind of impressed with that, and I was impressed with the company. I'm impressed with the fact that it is a Henry. So I started looking at the Henry all-weather. The Henry all-weather is all hardened chrome, so it's very, very durable in the bad weather. The stock, I know it looks composite, but with a closer look you can tell there's wood grain in there. I believe it's walnut. The coating over it is some weatherized coating. I at first thought it might be slippery, but it's not. It's not as slippery at all. It was a concern I should have never even worried about. I did go with a 45-70 for a couple of reasons. For one, the only other caliber available for an all-weather at that time was a 30-30, and I wanted something a little more oomph. I know the 30-30 has killed more deer than probably any other caliber out there, but I also was taking into consideration the fact that I may want to take a bear while I'm up in the Adirondacks, and hopefully at some point down the road I'll end up maybe going moose hunting or out west for some elk or something bigger along those lines, and this way I don't need to buy another rifle. This one will be all set. The 45-70, I shoot 225 Leverutions. I know you can get some buffalo boars up there that are up to 500 grains. You can pretty much hunt almost anything in the world with this gun with the right bullet. So I also, it's got the pistol grip on it. That's a big seller for me. I feel like the straight stock just doesn't fit my hand right. It doesn't feel right. So this gun was made for me, basically. Like I said, I go out in all kinds of bad weather. I like hunting the bad weather. I feel like if it's really nasty, the deer aren't going to be up and moving around. They're going to be bedded down under a tree. They're going to be, you know, waiting to storm out. And scent is down. The wind doesn't really make as much of a difference because it's whipping everywhere. The deer's visibility is all messed up. I know their senses are going wild because they pretty much lost all of their warning systems, but those are the times when you can get in there and you can sneak anywhere you need to go and you can get in there and get that buck. So I enjoy hunting the bad weather, and in order for me to do that, I need a gun that's going to hunt hard with me. I wanted a gun that's not meant to sit on a mantle and look good. I needed a gun that is going to hunt hard, and my Henry all-weather does that. This gun, it wants to hunt, and it wants to hunt hard, and I'm going to bring it there. I went with Tally scope mounts. They're recommended. I feel like a lot of people will buy a nice expensive gun, nice expensive scope, cheap scope rings. Your piece is only as good as your weakest component. If you put cheap scope rings on there, then that's the extent of your gun. I got a loophole 2x7, just low magnification. Like I said, you usually don't shoot past 50 yards. I understand the stigma about having a scope on a brush gun. A lot of people are very against that, and I don't disagree with them. I wish I could have a brush gun without a scope on it, but I know my limitations. I've only fired a iron sight rifle a few times in my life. I've hunted forever with a scope. I'm good with a scope. I can acquire a target quick, and I know I can hit with a scope, and I know I can't without. So I don't want to take an ethical shot. I put a scope on my brush gun. You gotta do what you gotta do. My sling I made, I just got it off a YouTube tutorial. I don't remember which one, it was a couple years ago. I did have a hard time finding the right one I wanted. A lot of them that make these slings, even the ones that say for survival, if you need to use it, you need to unravel it bit by bit by bit. If you need this for survival, you're not going to want to take the time to do that. If your fingers are frostbitten and frozen and you're getting ready to hunker down for the night because you're stuck or lost or broken leg or whatever, I just want to be able to pull this apart. If I cut one loop in here, this all unravels into two pieces. This was one piece and this is another piece. I forget the length of it, but this is my survival sling that comes apart quickly. I also do not leave it on my gun when I hunt. I'm not going to deal with this flopping around while I'm tracking. And I also don't believe that you can shoot a deer with a gun over your shoulder. So only time I have a sling on my gun is when I'm dragging a buck out. If you have any questions or comments about my Henry rifle, just leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the woods.